Welcome back to my channel. The Philadelphia Eagles are now 8-2, but if you think just a few short weeks ago, Eagles fans were freaking out. In today's video, I'll share how the Eagles saved their season in their bye week. To really tell this story, I have to go back to last year. Of course, the Eagles started off 10-1, but this was a bit of a fraudulent 10-1. We all knew it. The offense was scraping by and the defense was really bad. They ended the year on a huge losing streak, a disastrous loss. People even wanted Nick Siriani to get fired, which was a little crazy in my opinion. But with a loss that bad to Tampa Bay in the playoffs, I can understand. So going into this year, they changed the offensive and defensive coordinators. They went from young, up and coming, to established veterans in Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore. So these guys have seen a thing or two. And to add on to that, the secondary and the defense and the linebackers pretty much completely changed, as well as you can't forget Jason Kelce and Hassan Reddick and Fletcher Cox all are gone. So those were 3 of the top 10 players on the team from last year, all gone. Going into week 1 against Green Bay, I would say most fans were hopeful. I was really hopeful as an Eagles fan. I thought the Eagles had a good chance at winning the division, winning the NFC, and even winning the Super Bowl, because I thought their offense would be so high-powered under Kellen Moore with all the weapons they have. The Green Bay game started a little shaky, but they ended up winning. Kind of a joint performance. Jalen Hurts looking good at times, looking bad at times. The defense looking good at times, looking bad at times. Beating Green Bay, a good win in Brazil. Then in week 2 against the Falcons, honestly, they looked better pretty much the entire game, and then they lost. It was a disaster. The Eagles' running defense looked absolutely terrible. Now, it is Bijan Robinson, but still they were giving up about 7 yards per carry, and it was kind of a, oh, here we go again feeling. Not to mention letting Kirk Cousins drive all the way down the field in under a minute to win the game. Then, week 3, we beat the Saints 15-12, but the offense looked terrible, the defense looked amazing. It has kind of proven that the Saints are frauds, so less of a good win at this point, where you can say we figured out the Saints. But this was a win without the star players A.J. Brown or Lane Johnson. Then in week 4, this is where it all fell apart. It was a disaster, and that was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 33-16, but it was not that close. The defense, it just got obliterated once again, and the offense couldn't do anything. So going into the bye week, it was 2-2, but 2 extremely demoralizing losses.
Do you actually have a plan, or you're just not telling me to be mysterious, or you have, no idea?
And this was really a breaking point. Where does this Eagles team go from here? Do they go on a long win streak, or do they crumble and all the calls for Sirianni to get fired grow? And they made adjustments, and as you can tell, they decided to get better. First things first, the most important change was the defense. Since the bye week, the Eagles have had arguably the best defense in the NFL. They've done the crazy stat of holding 2 teams to under 50 net passing yards on over 17 passing attempts. And that was the Giants and the Cowboys. It's only ever happened twice. Those were the 2 times.
Wow.
How bad their quarterbacks were. And then to add on to that, the most that's been scored on them since the bye week is 23 points. That's a really good defense. So what actually changed? The first major change that I would like to point out is that they replaced the worst player on the defense with a up-and-coming superstar. So they replaced Avonte Maddox, who was a really good slot corner a few years ago for the Eagles. However, he's older, he's dealt with injuries, and honestly, he's just not that good anymore. They replaced him with Cooper DeJean, the young white corner. If you don't know who he is, he's the white corner on the Eagles. And he's from Iowa. He was a 2nd-round pick. A lot of people projected him as a 1st-round pick, but, teams honestly probably saw that he was a white corner and passed on him. But he has been amazing in the slot. He has shut down everybody he's guarded, and he is one of the surest tacklers on the team. So just there, you take away the worst player, you replace it with a great player, and that alone will make a big difference. To add on to that, Quinton Mitchel, the first-round rookie pick, has been an absolute stud. He's been one of the best corners in the NFL, and he's even going up against number ones. Last week against the Commanders, he played against Terry McLaurin, their best wide receiver, for over 20 snaps. He had no catches. He only had one target. He just locked him down all the way, and this was a great wide receiver. He also has done this to CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Drake London, a lot of people that he's played, but he has just been absolutely amazing. And finally, Slay is playing well as well. One small change that they made after the bye week is against the Buccaneers, they're kind of playing off the wide receivers. So they're giving them some time to run around, get open, honestly. They moved to more pressing, so the corners are getting closer up to the wide receivers, kind of jamming them up. This has greatly improved the secondary, as well as just the communication between the group has improved as well. The next thing that got better with the defense is the linebackers have played absolutely amazing, especially Zach Baun. He's been one of the best Eagles linebackers that I've ever seen. Now, I'm not that old, so I didn't see the ones in like the 90s, but in the past 15 years for sure, he's had one of the best Eagles linebacker seasons, just period. He has been good in coverage, he's made big plays, he's made a ton of tackles, he's just all over the field. To add on to that, the other linebacker, Nakobe Dean, has played very well. He is a little worse in pass coverage, but he plays the run well, he's a sure tackler, and he can hit hard. And then finally, this defensive line looked very, very bad to start the year off. Through 4 weeks, they had only a handful of tackles. Then against the Browns, they had 6, and against the Giants, they had 5, and now they have 28 sacks, which puts them in a pretty decent rate. Josh Sweat's leading the pack with 6 sacks, but of course, Jalen Carter, the all-star defensive tackle, disrupts everything. He only has 3.5 sacks, but he makes such a difference on this team. And Nolan Smith, the young defensive end, is finally starting to show some payoff from the first-round pick last year. We all knew he might take some time to get better, and of course it's Philadelphia, so everyone wanted him to be good instantly, but giving him some time, he's shown that he is a good player in the NFL. And then finally, the defense as a whole has just gotten better at tackling. That's what really has shored up the run game, is just everyone on the team is getting better at tackling. So really, in a sense, what changed in the defense? Well, they changed the slot corner, they gelled together, and they're just playing better. Just everyone on the defense just started playing 10% better, and that has led to one of the best defenses in the NFL, one of the best Eagles defenses that I've ever seen. That is the big difference. The Eagles this year are not an offensive team so far. They are a defensive team. I never would have guessed that, but it is definitely true so far. We'll see in the coming weeks against these big challenges like the Rams, the Ravens. Really, those two offenses could be deadly. We'll see what the defense can do. But of course, that's not it. The offense has made changes as well, and I will get into that. But first, if you like the video, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting down below. But yeah, just stick around for more. But anyways, back to the video. So what has the offense changed? This offense is a really hit or miss offense, even now. They have been putting up over 30 points a game for almost every game since the bye week, but these are through big splash plays, and that's kind of what this offense is. To start the year off, they didn't know what they were. And Jalen Hurts was turning the ball over, and A.J. Brown and Lane Johnson got hurt. After the bye week, all the puzzle pieces are back here. Now, of course, there were some losses. Mailata's been out for a while. Dallas Goedert missed some time. But the stars have returned. That helps, of course. Jalen with and without A.J. Brown, completely different quarterback. So what's changed? Jalen Hurts is not throwing the ball as much. He's only throwing the ball about 20 to 25 times per game, which is not very often for an NFL quarterback. But he's been very efficient. He's had big plays. And most importantly, he's not turning the ball over. Just that alone, when you combine with the great defense, leads to a lot of wins, especially against some of these bad teams they've played, like the Giants. You know, the Giants only put up 3 points. You don't need a quarterback to be that amazing to beat them. But what the Eagles' offense has really changed to, a little bit of a surprise to me, is that they are a run-first offense. The Eagles have ran the ball more than they have passed the ball, and after the past few weeks, it's not even that close anymore. They've ran the ball the most out of any team in the NFL for amount of rushes compared to passes, like their rush rate. And Saquon Barkley has been amazing. Even this game against the Commanders, the whole first half, they're running the ball with him. He's not doing much. Then the second half, they run the ball with him. He breaks away for a 40-yard touchdown. That's just how this team plays. The offensive line is a great run-blocking offensive line, and Saquon Barkley is a top 3 running back in the NFL. Maybe the best this year. You could easily say he's the best this year. He's just been that good. And you have to give Kellen Moore a lot of credit for seeing what's better about this offense and just going with it. Don't be too stubborn and stay to what you like. Just go with what actually works. So, kind of a recap of the offense. 1, they got healthy. And then 2, Jalen Hurts stopped turning the ball over. And 3, they started running the ball. You combine this with an elite defense, and you're one of the best teams in the NFL. So, essentially, they were left out for dead in Philly fans' terms after 4 weeks. And since then, they have gone on a 6-game win streak. They beat the Commanders. They beat the Bengals, who I think are a decent team. Of course, they beat the Giants and Cowboys as well, who are both bad, but still divisional games. They are now 8-2, a 1.5 game lead over Washington with a win over them. They're now in the driver's seat for sure for this division and are only 1 game behind the Lions for number 1 in the NFC, and the Eagles have a really bright future ahead of them. So anyways, that's kind of all I have on how the Eagles saved their season. What are your thoughts? Leave them down below in the comments section. Like the video if you want to, and subscribe for more NFL videos. Bye.